Hello and welcome to BFS Wargaming. So here doing a little video series on characters maybe we want to see, we could be seeing in the future. So we're going to start off this series with Craftworlds. Because with the new Psychic Awakening, we've got a lot of stuff coming out, information, and it seems to be around the AL Diary. So I'm going to start off with the AL Diary factions, but we're going to specifically focus on Craftworlds today. So I've read as much through the Codex, I've tried to read lore. Again, when I'm going through this stuff, I am by no means a lore master, or I've read a bit of lore, but there's people who have read far, far, far more than me. But I hope that I've got a good enough overview that I can give some insights on what might be coming as well. And also I think the Codex is a really good place to start on where you think that things might be coming. Not all of it's from the Codex, some of it I'm sort of making up myself and just throwing things into the arena, a bit wish listy. But some of it is from the Codex and that sort of thing, and some of it's maybe a bit educated guesses, maybe something along those lines. So we'll talk about so the characters that obviously we already have for Craftworlds is like Prince Ariel. He is, I've got this written down here just so I can remember and don't get things wrong. He's from the Eandon. Sorry again if I butcher all of these names, because you know it's another language, so I'm not going to pronounce them all correctly. So he is, Eandon from Eandon Craftworld, and then you have Eldrad, who's probably the most famous and very, very good on the tabletop. Eldrad Ulfran, and he's from Ulfway, he's a Farseer. And then you have Illic Nightspear, who's a Ranger, and he is, I think he's a Latok. I'm pretty sure he's a Latok. So yeah, they're the three that are sort of from different factions, and then you've got all of the Phoenix Lords, you know, Morgan Ra and all of those guys, loads of them, Assurmen and Fuegan, again I'm butchering names, but yeah, the Phoenix Lords that are sort of head of all of the Aspect Warriors and their different types. So then we've got the Avatar of Cain as well, so I'm really hoping the Avatar of Cain gets a new model, just because he seems too small to be, like, I think in the artwork he is the same size as like one of the Titans, you know, and at the moment he's about half the size of a Titan. So it'd be really cool just to see this massive Avatar, which I think is what he's meant to be. And obviously his model is very old, so I think when they made it and everything's got a little bit bigger. So I'm hoping to see a new model for Cain. Would be really, really cool. So if we go into characters that we would like to see or we think might be coming. So with the recent Space Marine Codex and the supplements and that sort of thing, we've seen they're obviously Primaris-ified some models, and what I was hoping they would do for each chapter is they'd have at least one named character, which is I think what they seem to be doing. So for instance, you've got Khosrow Khan, obviously Ultramarines have got a few named characters plus Ginnaman, and then you've got Carbon Shrike for the Raven Guard, and I hope there's going to be an Iron Hands one, because at the moment Iron Hands haven't got, but there is a model we've seen, and I was hoping is a named character, because at the moment Iron Hands haven't got a named character. So I'm hoping they're going to sort of try and do this with a lot of the factions, especially the bigger factions and the older factions like Craftworld and things like that. I mean, it might be a bit harder with some of the others, just for instance, every Drukhari Obsession to have a named character might be a bit much, but to get a few would be really good, even if it was at least one for each, you know, Cabal, Homunculus Coven and Witch Cult. I know they've got one for the Homunculus Coven, one for the Witch Cult, but haven't got any for the Cabal. But that's a different video. So we will go into the Drukhari on a different video. So we'll talk about Bealtan first. So Bealtan Craftworld. We're only going to talk about the 5 main Craftworlds, because they're the ones that have got rules in the book. You never know, you might then get a book where you can then sort of make up your own, or a bit like the Space Marine book. for the other smaller Craftworlds. So we will start off with the Autarch Galanta. So he's actually in, or he, they are actually in the Codex, with a little piece at the end of a bit about the Bealtan. So I'm thinking, if they're in the Codex with the lore, like, maybe they're thinking, you know, they've got the idea of who this is, they've got the lore behind that person. Is that going to be a character? Is that going to be a character coming in the future? Then we have Faction Ulamar, who is a warlock for Ulthwé. So, I mean, Ulthwé obviously already have Eldrad Ulthran, but it could be another character, because, you know, there's no reason why you can't have two named characters. There's a lot of chapters and factions and stuff that do have two named characters. I mean, look at Space Wolves, they've got about 10. So that would be really, really cool. And then we've got Tavril Kiarad. Again, probably butchering that to death. He is a Spirit Seer for Eandon. So it'd just be really cool just to see some more characters, some more named characters with a bit more flavour. I do love a named character. I just feel like it's really nice sometimes to have an unnamed character and then give them your own lore, your own name. Like, it's brilliant. But also it's like, it's nice to have that named character, and, you know, for instance, you know, and you're talking about him and he's just got that sort of legend behind him. I just think it's really, really cool. And then we have Torque Shearsome, who's a Wind Rider for Samhan. Again, a bit of a different character, obviously a Wind Rider, something different, so he's not just a character on foot, so it'd be really, really cool. And then we have Fanay Ulafani for the Alatok. So, you know, there's 5 characters there that we could see coming, you know, fairly soon, and it would be really, really cool to see more named characters. I mean, don't get me wrong, we know that the aspect, there's loads of stuff in the, specifically the Craftworld Codex, that has a lot of Finecast, metal models, and obviously they need to be updated. That goes without saying. Before you want loads of new characters, but it would be really, really cool to see new characters along with all of these other new or redone old aspect models and stuff like that. I just think really sort of I know Craftworld have already got a lot in their codex, but I just think it would really flesh it out and give it, each of them Craftworlds, give them more flavour, you know, and then you can really get behind your Craftworld. You know, it's just another way of, like, you're not just playing Craftworld, you're playing Eandon, you know, and it's just another way of sort of creating more armies within an army, and I think that's a really, really good thing. And then we're going to go on to talk about Isha. So Isha is the only other Eldar god apart from the Laughing God, Keargorak, or whatever his name is, that is still alive. But she's been held prisoner by Grandfather Nurgle. And so the Avatar of Khaine is, obviously, you've still got loads of avatars of Khaine that are on all the Craftworlds, which can be used to fight, but he's not really there as such. And then you have the new Psychic Awakening that's come out, and as of making this video, we don't know what's coming, but it does. We know the book's called The Rising Phoenix, and we know that the Asuraman, the god of gods for the Eldar, he was the Phoenix, which, you know, rising from death. Obviously, Slaanesh consumed him, but could he rise again? Maybe. Could he rise again? Free Isha? Maybe. Who knows? Who knows where the lore's going to go? Are they going to get models? Probably not, because they're gods. And I always think, like, you can have an avatar. You see how they've done, like, Shards of the Citan with the Necrons. You haven't actually got any gods on the board, you know. So you can never play Nurgle as in the god Nurgle or the god Slaanesh. It's always greater demons, because I just think you can't put a god on the board because they're too powerful. But doesn't mean in the lore they can't then do stuff and then it affect the tabletop game in terms of new rules, new powers. You know, maybe the Phoenix Lords can then call on Asuriman to give them new powers to, you know, maybe once per battle you can call on him and he just sends a massive firebolt down. It's a bit like an audible bombardment. Like, who knows? It would be cool though. I think there's a lot of legs in the Craftworld lore. I've obviously been reading into it. It's really, really fantastic, and you should go and have a read yourself. There's a lot going on in terms of they're sort of they've been foreseeing this psychic awakening happening, and, you know, something bad's happening. They're sort of trying to, there's the Orpheus have gone and helped the Tau, they've helped the Imperium. Obviously, we know the Craftworld brought Gilliman, well, the Inari brought Gilliman back to life. There's a lot of things that the sort of the Craftworlds are trying to, and Inari are trying to help and bring people together seems to be trying to fight this bigger threat. So yeah, exciting times. But yeah, so we've got sort of, you know, along with the Avatar of Cain getting a new model, you've got a lot of new, if he does, a lot of new potential characters for Craftworlds, which will flesh out each of those Craftworlds, like Simhan and Biltan, which haven't really got anything at the moment, haven't got a named character, so it'd be really, really nice for them to get specific named characters for their factions. Yeah, be really, really good. So I will leave you there. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed. Is there any characters that you have read in the lore that could be coming that I've completely missed? Let me know, because I'd love to hear from you. Because obviously, like I said, I'm not a lore master. I haven't heard of everything. But thank you very much, and we will see you in the next one, which will be on Drukhari. Thank you. Bye.